Welcome to Strengthening Families Oklahoma Story, developed by the Smart Start Oklahoma, the Oklahoma State Department of Health, in collaboration with the National Alliance of Children's Trust and Prevention Funds.
Maybe we're living in a culture that we've lost some of that natural instinct at a variety of levels to build a bubble of protection, around each child. That is the best way to grow up, where you feel secure in your family, you feel secure in your school system, you feel secure when you go out into the community as a whole. All of those pieces that go together in the Strengthening Families model that if they're present, build a strong family, that's meaningful.
We went in and did some training with the staff at the Early Head Start and Head Start, and wanted to help them build a relationship a little bit more with parents. It was through conversations, and parents were giving us the indication that they wanted a little bit more time to talk with each other, and they'd realized that they were just dropping their kids and shooting out the door and had so much in common, and discovered they had a few challenges and that kind of thing as well.
They would sit together with their administrators from the Child Care Center, the staff from the Child Care Center, the parents all at one table, and talk about issues affecting the child that they both have a vested interest in. And I think that it's a real leveling kind of thing to do when you get parents and child care providers and child care center staff at the same table talking about these issues. I think that parents, again, it's back to that strength-based model. They begin to think, someone really cares about my child and the future of my child as much as I do.
If the platform is there, the parents do talk to each other. Sometimes it's very informal, so in the comings and goings of the day, usually at the end of the day when things are less stressful. But sometimes it's in more of a formal gathering, such as a pizza night, or some of our child care facilities have done a really great job of having parents' night out.
One of my most favorite Strengthening Families events was held at the Hispanic Baptist Church in South Logan County. They have a woman that comes in and teaches English second language classes to them. Well, they were taking a break over the summer, and she was looking for something for them to do, and she called me and asked if I could put together some programs. And I said, of course, to this opportunity. And one thing that we did was we had vision screenings. And as soon as they finished screening all the children, they decided to go ahead and screen all the adults. And one mother was found to be legally blind, and she did not know it. And Dr. Bennett said, if you'll just come to my office, I will help you. And she said, I don't have any money. And he said, don't worry about it. We're going to make sure that you get the vision correction that you need.
It's really key that you start out with building a relationship with parents, really allowing that opportunity for them to establish that relationship with you and the organization that you're working with, and then to complement areas that they need support in.
If we strengthen that unit and then bring it into the bigger context of community, we're all better off. Families that feel involved in their community are families that have a positive impact on that very same community. Do we need to partner with the school system? Do we need to partner with the Chamber of Commerce? Do we need to partner with the economic development folks? Whoever we need to partner with to strengthen that family unit, to call attention to the critical importance of the early years, that's what we're going to do.
The It's not a cookie cutter model of, you know, when you become a mom or a dad that it's real easy to be that. And to just figure out how to set some routines that are helpful, or if you have a challenge with a kid that just doesn't like bedtime, to think of some creative ways that you can do bedtime routines. What we notice is that they seem to enjoy the time with their kids more, and they enjoy time working with the staff and with each other. What we can tell you is that there's more quality relationships. There's more of an opportunity for them to come and ask somebody about a challenge that they may be having.
We had a specialist come in and talk about how you feed a family on very little money. Now, that doesn't immediately bring to mind a protective factor, but when a parent is resilient, which is one of the protective factors, the stress level goes way down, so the opportunity for abuse or neglect drops as well.
To be that first line of defense for that family, and to know that they can help that parent feel good about leaving their child there, help that child make that transition that particular day, especially if the family is under a lot of stress, and also to help that family know that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Once they begin to understand the science of how a healthy child and a healthy brain develops, with support in pointing out all the ways that they've already caused that to happen, they relax. They seem to really connect in this experience of parenting, which is overwhelming to most of us. And so I would have to say, yeah, they just become more connected naturally, less competitive.
One thing that a Strengthening Family Center can provide that other centers cannot provide, or don't provide as well, I believe, is that those caregivers are taught how to relate to parents, what has happened during the day with their child, to share with that child, to build that relationship, not as a babysitter with a child, but as a person who truly loves and nurtures that child.
I do see a difference in the child care facility and the climate, and the changes in the caregivers and the changes in the families. The caregivers realize, and the teachers, both one and the same, realize that they can either make that day or break that day for both that child and that family.
If you feel like this is your peer, this is your partner in raising your child, if your child does have a challenge, for example, let's say your child is a biter, you have a 2-year-old that wants to bite every child in the room. When the teacher explained that that is developmentally very, very appropriate behavior and very common, and that this too shall pass, and that the other children were not really harmed by his biting, and that he would grow out of it and they would work together to try to correct the behavior, that parent not only didn't feel like a failure because their child had a challenge, but felt like someone was reaching out to them to help them with that behavior.
Transition is not just, you know, the kids going from pre-K to kindergarten to first grade. It's also about transitions in their lifestyle. We've had a few parents that have gone through divorce, and just having that extra person or group that supports them and helps them through that process has been very, very key. And we asked them if they wanted to meet more than once a month, and they said absolutely.
We decided that if we truly were going to impact parents, they needed to be where the education was and where the opportunities to connect were. So we wrote an innovative grant, and we received the grant, and we invited parents to bring their children as well, and child care providers and professionals. They did. It had never been done in the state of Oklahoma. That's why the innovation was a piece of the grant that we got. And what we found was that parents really liked having their children with them while they were learning what they were there to learn. We had activities provided for the kids. Nursing mothers didn't have to worry about leaving children. We had a father in particular who had worked all night and still came to the conference because he wanted to be with his kids and his wife.
Strengthening Families is not per se a program, but it's a mindset and it's a way of working in a community. It's building a network system that is both professional and also relationship based. And it's an opportunity for your community to address many different kinds of issues in many different ways and have an impact in parents and families' lives that no other program we feel like has been able to address.
Actually, the base of Strengthening Families is in the word strength, and it's important because people learn and absorb new information much more easily when you approach their strengths first and build on those. But if you approach people spirit to spirit on how strong they already are, then they're much more open to hearing something that may need a tweaking or a change.
I would like for people to know that Strengthening Families is vital to the work that we do with young children, all children and their families. I think that it should be one of the core learning components for all persons that are going to be assisting children and families. That it should be a core educational or training piece, no matter whether you're working in the public schools, the Department of Ed, the child care facilities, mental health facilities, whatever it is, because this is a first line of defense and prevention method in assisting families in coping with the day-to-day issues that they're having to deal with right now.
What I would like to tell people about Strengthening Families is that those protective factors work. That this is a program that can really work and change lives.
Strengthening Families is about building community at the very grassroots level. We all love our children, but our children need more than just our love. They need all sorts of things that sometimes we can't provide, but that a child care provider could provide, or perhaps another service in the community. And because of Strengthening Families, we can connect with each other and make sure that we each know what's available and how to access those things.
Caregivers and parents are not alone in this, and both of them need to have the training or be given the information regarding the Strengthening Families model and all the protective factors so that they together can make this the best success story for those children.